Hello and welcome to the Arena Sports Show. My name is Chloe Grayson Benza and we've got a jam-packed show for you today on the Arena Sports Show. The only unfortunate thing is that I didn't receive the email about the dress code today, but you know what, it's okay. We'll let my favorite influencer shine on this one because he definitely decided to put me on the bench on this one. Matlasin Patlele joins me, and alongside him is of course Greg Etafia, who joins us, who is the goalkeeper coach at TS Galaxy but has done so well in terms of the game and of course how long he stayed in the game. 13 years at Swallows, went on then to coach, so absolutely phenomenal what he's managed to achieve. Influencer, I'll start with you. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Big weekend. Some teams now finally have silverware, so it's a lot has been happening over the weekend.
So just by starting you want to get me into trouble.
I don't want to
with
get you
teams
into
winning
trouble.
silverware. Yeah, good. I was a very nice weekend in PE. Bafana, a good game.
Yeah.
We're 1 foot now into AFCON. I think they must go to Brazzaville and finish the job.
And it definitely will be finished. Greg, thank you for joining us. You are not aging a bit. So what routine are you using? Please share with us.
No. Some Nigerian food, egusi and pounded yam.
I'll add it on my
You should have brought
diet.
something for me, yeah? And plantain also.
I'm telling you, man.
All right, we have a jam-packed show for you. So much to look forward to and so much to talk about. But we'll start off with finding out, of course, what's been happening on your top stories as, of course, some players are fighting for game time influencer. A lot is happening in the world of sports.
Bafana coach Hugo Bru is concerned about the state of the synthetic pitch in Brazzaville, where Congo hosts South Africa in the return leg of the 2025 AFCON qualifier on Tuesday. It was a weekend of mixed emotions for South Africa's franchises in the United Rugby Championship, with the Bulls and the Lions winning their opening 2 matches, while the Sharks and the Stormers fell short. Mamelodi Sundowns attacking midfielder Neo Maema has vowed to fight for his place in the starting lineup after a few months where he has seen little action.
Well, I definitely do like that fighting mentality from Billy the Kid, and hopefully we'll see him in the field of play once again. But we also have to choose, of course, our star of the week, so that Matlasin Patlele doesn't steal anyone's star of the week. He'll be the last one to tell us. Greg Etafia, who has impressed you in the past few days?
I mean, there's a lot of stars of the week that did very well in terms of individual play, you know.
Yeah.
But my own, I think I go for Tabako Mokwena, you know. I think, you know, with the situation around him and for him to come out shining like this, and not only that, scoring 2 goals and not easy goals. I mean, a header is of difficult skills, and with the volley again, I just think for me, he outshined everyone.
As
That's
a
my star of the
goalkeeper,
week.
could you have stopped that? A difficult one to
It's
stop.
difficult because it's deeping, you know, and sometimes you don't, as a goalkeeper, you don't really ready for this kind of situation. But at the same time, you must give credit to the player because he was on a volley, and I think he was a good strike. And you know, with him, he has that ability to do that, you know, to strike that. And I feel with every situation around him, and for him to come out with 2 goals, you know, I just think he's my star of the week.
All right, let's find out from the influencer. What about you?
I'll go Bafana. And the PE crowd, except for those idiots who ran onto the pitch.
Oh, they delayed us, those ones.
Not just delaying us. Actually, if the situation got bad, we could have forfeited that match. So it was not child's play. I know there's a good vibe around Bafana. People are excited and they had a good start. Emotions can sometimes take over.
But you know what
we need
also
to
I
be
realized
responsible.
though, influencer, it normally happens especially in the cities where there's not a lot of big teams around. So now that excitement, seeing Relay there, seeing Temba Zwane there, you kind of, oh my goodness, they're here. So in a way, yes, it's not right, but I understand that starvation of seeing your stars.
So we must check these kids if they've been drinking before they come to the match. But also, a special mention to Osinapolis. I think he goes down under the radar. 3 assists. He takes players on. He's brave. And most of the good work that happened in PE, he had a lot to do with it. So but Bafana, the PE crowd, I'm quite happy.
No, we definitely are. And I mean, speaking of crowds, we also have to speak about the crowd that was in Bloemfontein, where we witnessed, of course, Kaizer Chiefs and also finally winning silverware. I know a lot of people are taking jabs on social media
You're
saying, no,
bad.
but that cup looks like it was made by a high school kids. But you know what? Silverware is silverware.
A win is a win.
A win is a win, and you will definitely take it. So a big congratulations to Kaizer Chiefs. They're a bit more quiet about this one, so I don't know if they're not happy about the trophy.
It's not make sure that thing. Don't take it serious.
But it is definitely a good start.
But also, just to add there, it's obviously people are making a joke of it. For the coach, very, very important.
Yes.
Preparation for the coming matches. You can see the way he picked the team. Wants to give other players a chance to see how they can do. So from a football perspective, it was a very good outing. Also for Marumo, for the coaches to have a look. It's a chance to play a competitive match out there. So yeah, I guess we can put the banter aside of the trophy and all the stuff. But the coaches must be happy with what happened at Free State.
They definitely should be. And well, now when we shift focus and just to look into, of course, Greg Etafia's life. Greg, I mean, we talk about loyalty, and I think that's one word that you understand so well. 13 years at Swallows, then you go on to coach there. Talk to us about your time and also maybe the influence Coach Gavin Hunt has had in your career, because we think Gavin, we think SuperSport, but he also spent time at Swallows and a big figure in your career.
I mean, first of all, thank God, for the opportunity Morocco Swallows gave to me, and, coming out from Nigeria wasn't easy. Everyone want to go play overseas, but South Africa was a big step for me. I learned a lot of things, and credit must be given to Coach Gavin Hunt. I think he's one coach that brought the best out of me. And, during my time at Morocco Swallows with him, I mean, he did a lot for me, not only on the pitch, off the pitch too. He allowed me to settle down and give me opportunities to do the best I could, and I just, it's a long journey, for me to start today at Morocco Swallows, it's just something we're always grateful to. I'm grateful to them, to the management, to the supporters, and to all the coaches I play under,
Yeah. What I want to quickly find out, influencer, before you jump into that. I mean, we know Gavin Hunt now is a colourful figure. At Swallows, what kind of coach was he then?
He was younger. He wasn't.
Yeah, he was younger. He was still young, and after he just left Cape Town, he went to Black Leopard, and when he was coming to Swallows, so he has to sign players that he wanted. He has this particular players that he really think that they can do the job for him, and I was fortunate enough to be one of the players that he wanted as a goalkeeper. And he was just energetic, because he wanted to win everything, and he took us top it. That time was a big thing, because Swallows, before he came, there were a lot of struggles in terms of they were down the bottom every time. So, and after he took Black Leopard to top 8, he came and we were consistent in the top 8, and we even went to CAF, went to play this. We won that's APSA Cup during those times, so went to play the CAF Cup, So he did a lot of things, at Swallows. And Swallows that time was a selling team, he has to groom players to sell, and so I think, he's massive at Swallows that time. He did a lot of things. People don't really know what he did until when he left, and when he got, I can say, when he got players again that he wanted, a SuperSport and the style he plays, that's where you saw he won the league 3 times consistent. And you cannot just do that easily if you don't have the players and if you don't have the passion. As Swallows, they really have the passion, and he was doing well.
And a lot of people don't actually realize that you came to South Africa highly recommended. You won the league in Nigeria with Lobby Stars. Went to the Olympics in 2000. The Olympics that South Africa beat Brazil at. So you came here with a little bit of reputation.
Back home then I was the only home-based player. Normally you have this lot of professional players that plays overseas. The likes of JJ were in PSG. Kanu was in Inter Milan. Sondolisa was in Borussia Dortmund. So I was the only home-based player, and normally in Nigeria you only have the goalkeepers that makes the team. So I was the only one that So I just won the league with Lobby Stars, so I got promoted from under 17 to under 23. I went to the Olympics. We're in the same, they call it village. Olympics is a village. Everyone stays. The athletes stay there. And South Africa, that's where they beat Brazil, as you earlier alluded to. it was a very good team, South Africa. We admired them a lot, So I did my best, in terms of, the Olympics that time. And Gavin, I'm just lucky enough. He saw Nigerian game too. He was watching Nigerian game, and I got invited, to South Africa, and I got signed. And yeah, the rest is history,
And you were a bigger star than Victor Nyama, strangely.
I was in the national team before Vicente Yama, because Vicente that time was playing for Ibom Stars. The team they call Ibom Stars was second division. So I was already playing for the first division, which is Lobby Stars. So in Makodi, congratulations to Daniel Mokachi. He's the technical advisor there right now. And after Ibom Stars, Vicente went to Eyimba. So when they won the Champions League, remember the 2001-2 season, they won twice, consistent that time, So before then I was in the Super Eagles already, with the likes of, Olise, JJ, and them. They took me under their wings, and they really, taught me a lot of things, gave me opportunity to go for trials overseas. I went to France. I went to Israel, before I came to South Africa. But Gavin was a big influence for me to come to South Africa, and I never regretted it. I'm so happy.
Just on the Nigerian national team, in African football, obviously, we've produced big players over the years and stuff. Having played with JJ Okocha.
Yeah. JJ is another breed.
Do you think? Just how I understand. Sometimes we only watch him during a match, but sometimes to really gauge the quality of a player is when you watch them at training. How was he at training this man?
He was very good. And during those time, most of the senior players that plays overseas, the likes of Victor Ikpeba, Daniel Omokachi, they come early in the camp. If the camp is, maybe for instance, we say, okay, everybody should assemble on Sunday. On Monday, they're there, And Olise is one advocate of that early camp. And if you see that time, Nigeria, they're more consistent in terms of playing wise, in terms of tournament, So, and that's, that stage in terms of them, about 4 years, that decade, they really dominate African football. JJ was something else at training. But the good thing is, them that time, Olise was ready to sacrifice for JJ to do whatever he wanted to do. JJ is a skillful player. He can, not that he cannot mark, he can mark, but Olise was there to stay. Whatever happened, he can mark. He can mark for him and I'm giving the ball back. So JJ was too skillful. At training, he does things that people don't believe. The likes of Garba Lawal too,
Garba Lawal.
Garba Lawal, Tijani Babangida. So there was a lot of stars that, okay, JJ is someone that can create something out of nothing. But he started training. This thing coaches say that, you train well, you play well at the weekend, I think JJ is typical of that, because when it comes to camp, it's serious, he does everything that you can see at the weekend. It's not a fluke. Even if you say in France 98, when he destroyed Denmark. Nigeria lost the game, but he was the man of the match. And, the way he plays, the skills. Actually, when he was at PSG, he used to tell us that Ronaldinho sometimes, they compete in terms of skills, who got the more skill, who was skillful more, So he gave us the stories when it comes to training in terms of how the Europeans, how they do. So we are the young ones, because I was the only home base. I got to, get closer to them to know how things are done in Europe, and see him at training, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, hence they say the men so good they named him twice.
That is true. But Greg, now when you look back, right, in your career and the competition around you, we talk about that because it's important for players around you to sharpen you and to make sure that you're a better keeper as well. Talk to us about the keepers around you at that time.
I was unfortunate because, Vicente Yama was something else. He's just a natural goalkeeper. He's not like a keeper that learn, like some keepers, you train them from small, they become better. There's some keepers that just natural, gifted. They can, like Nwabali now, he's just a natural goalkeeper. You can see. But Vicente was on another level. My fortunate part is I came to that, that category with the best goalkeeper at that age, at that time. It was Vicente Yama, it was Dele Ayedugba, and it was Austin Ejide. So Austin, they went to Israel, they played Maccabi Tel Aviv, Maccabi Haifa, and Austin, after Israel, went to Esperance in Tunisia. So I have to come to South Africa. I have to move away from Nigeria, in terms of to get opportunity to compete. Because they always believe that if you're outside Nigeria, you have that opportunity, you are professional, they call you. In Nigeria, we call it pros. So you're just an outside pro, guy, in Nigeria, you're a pro, but when you're outside Nigeria, you have more value to come play in the national team. So at that stage, there was a lot of competition, but I was lucky enough. I went to the Olympics. I went to the Super Eagles, and but Vincent just took over. After the World Cup, when Ikechi Anya, the last game they played against England, and Ikechi Anya just said, okay, let's see this boy. Ike was the one that recommended, saying, no, he was the goalkeeper, he was playing in Switzerland. So he said that, okay, we're out in the tournament, but this boy is doing well, Vincent Yama. He was doing well at training, and we all knew at that time from Ibon Stars, so when he went to Eyimba, everyone knew in Nigeria that he's going to be, but yeah, he came in, and that's how he never looked back, So, but he didn't ever give us a chance, Up to tomorrow, I call him, I say, my friend, why don't you give us a chance, man? When friendly games, you come to play every. Boy, he is unbelievable guy, I do communicate, we do communicate, speak to him every time, because his son now too is a goalkeeper in France, so he lived in France, he go to Nigeria. So, our sets that time, in terms of our age, they were top goalkeepers. Nigeria, you're known for producing goalkeepers, the likes of Peter Rufai, Aloyago, back in the days, but Vincent took it to another level, So yeah, but I'm so grateful, to have the opportunity to play for Nigeria.
So, quick one. In terms of relationships with goalkeepers, I find that so interesting, because you think you're in the same position, everybody wants to play, but there's more brotherhood around keepers. Why is that?
You see, because it's a special position.
Yeah.
And if you check most highest in the team, maybe 4 goalkeepers in any team. So there have to be that unity. You need to understand that it's only one player, only one goalkeeper can be on the goals. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you're not good, but at the same time, you have the disadvantage, because whenever you comes in, there's chances that you might make mistakes because you are not playing a lot. You can train. You can train as much as you can, but if you're not regular playing friendly games, playing in international and competitive games, you have that rustiness. It happens all over the whole world. But it's important, again, as a goalkeeper coach, the goalkeeper coach of a team, to put you on your feet, to make you get fitter, so that when that opportunity comes, you have to take it. But you have to, in any team or anywhere, there's that unity, because you have to support because it can be you tomorrow. Anything can happen. He might get a red card, he might be injured. So if you are there, you want someone to support you. Not like players. Infield, a coach can take a player at this position and this. A goalkeeper, you are there. That's why the unity have to be there. You need to support each other. You have to compete. You see, when there's no competition, that team will not do well. You have to compete. You need to understand, off the field, you can be friends. On the field, when he's playing, you can support him, but you have to compete, because everyone needs that position. And he will never tell you that because I'm your friend, I will not compete with you. We compete. So that's where you give that, that's that opportunity, like mostly in the club side, the team become better. They have a strong department, because everyone is compete. They can be friends off the field, but on the pitch, they compete for one another to get that position.
Coach, during your time, you may still have been young at that time. I look at Brian Baloyi in South Africa. I look at Andre, Gavin, Grant Johnson, maybe Okpara to a less extent.
When I came that time, there was Brian Baloyi, there were Rowen Fernandez,
Rowen.
Munib Joseph. Okpara just left. He was just about to leave that time. So Chansa, I think Chansa came. There was Taban Stemmer was there to a Pirates. So that's our set, That was our set, in terms of, the top goalkeepers that time. They were top. You come from a country and come to a country to compete, and you see top goalkeepers. It give you that motivation, for you to do better. And, it was difficult that time, because that time when I came in, it was only 2 foreigners need to play. So, and as a goalkeeper, it's a special position, but you think of, let us get a striker, but Gavin gave me that opportunity, and he saw quality in me, and you have to compete. You have to compete, and it was, I'm just so grateful. But, during those times, there was a lot of top goalkeepers. Even Hans Vonk came back. Emma Baron came back, So there was a lot of, I can't really remember his name, there's a boy, like, I forgot his name. He's so talented, you know, but he's in and out. He's not too consistent. Yeah, but there's a lot of good top goalkeepers that plays in South African league.
Maybe before to look, there's always been a discussion in South Africa that somebody like Brian Baloyi sort of introduced the modern goalkeeper thing, because I always say the only thing that Brian was not good at was distribution.
He was good.
Like Khune, maybe not at the level of Khune, but everything else, corners, one-on-one, penalties, this, that, commanding, he pretty much had almost everything of a modern goalkeeper.
Brian, you know, I was fortunate enough to watch, you know, most of the time when I watch South African league, but when they're playing in the continental game, you know, I watch Brian Baloyi when they play Al Ahly. I watch him, you know, when they play all those international games in terms of the national team. You know, he's one goalkeeper that have, you know, the stature. You know, goalkeeper need to have presence, and he has that presence. He can dive, he can command, he can kick. You know, depends on how you see it. You know, sometimes you can kick just to kick. Sometimes you can kick for direction. You know, I think for me, you know, during that time, I'm not bringing, because the Pep now, they're the one that bringing those modern things now. I think, you know, Brian Baloyi was one goalkeeper I really respect. There's Brian Baloyi, Marlin, Munib Joseph, you know, all the whole goalkeepers I play against, and in our stage that time, I think they were top, you know, and Brian Baloyi was there, and he was in the national team. He did very well, you know, in the national team. I just feel, for me, he has a top career that, you know, everyone admire to get to, you know. So, and he played for one of the biggest teams in the country, you know. So, and he did very well. I think he must be proud of himself, you know. From Chiefs, he went to Sundowns and did very well when the stage started for Sundowns too. Brian Baloyi was a typical real goalkeeper, you know. For me, that's my judgment with him. I think he has everything, you know. He has everything. At that, you know, goalkeeping every time gets modernized. At that time when he was in goals, I think he did everything he could.
I fully agree. And I mean, that leads then to the next conversation, because on social media, a lot of people now are comparing prime Itumeleng Khune and Rowen Williams now. And I mean, as a goalkeeper coach, you know the difference. Talk to us about the attributes both keepers have, in your opinion.
For me, Khune, I've seen Khune, you know, on another level. You know, when you talk about goalkeepers taking goalkeeper take goalkeeping to another level, Khune did that, you know, on his prime. You know, he was unbelievable, like, in terms of, you know, starting the 12th man, talking about goalkeeper start playing. I mean, Khune started this thing, you know, and his distribution was on another level. You know, he was very good in everything. He was very good in catching, crosses, you know, stopping, kicking. So he was an all-rounder goalkeeper. You know, he was everything. You cannot compare. Even, what's they call it? Rowen, when Khune was there, Rowen was still in the national team. You can see the same thing, not too far from each other, you know, not too far from each other. Khune was at that time playing. That's why, as I said earlier on, you know, when you're playing, you know, you always have that advantage because you do the thing every time, everybody sees you and all those things. Now, William is doing it now, people are comparing. I mean, both of them are great goalkeepers. Both of them are top goalkeepers. At their moment, at their time, and when they're needed, they are there to save their team. I think Khune, when he was playing, I think, you know, it's unbelievable, you know. I really admire him and what he has contributed, most especially for the national team and for Kaizer Chiefs. He is unbelievable goalkeeper. And you can see Williams now is going to another level, you know. So that is what you want in the country. When someone gets to this bar, the next person take it to another level, you know. So I'm just so happy for both of them. Both of them are unbelievable goalkeepers.
And then let's talk about some of the guys that you work with now at Chess Galaxy. You obviously are a coach now, and you happy with, you know, the progression that the guys are making there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have the opportunity, and thanks to TS Galaxy as a team, thanks to Coach Saramovic, you know, I mean, the head coach, he has done so well at TS Galaxy in terms of where TS Galaxy was before and the way they are now, you know, in terms of how many players in the last 2 years they have sold, in terms of not for smaller team, for bigger team. That's where you see, I think for me, Siad Ramovic, I mean, there's coaching there. He coached.
And he's a former goalkeeper.
He's a former goalkeeper. He plays in the highest league, in the Bundesliga, So I think for me, he has done so well, thanks to the chairman too, Tim Sukazi that gave opportunity, and I think for me, all the goalkeepers that came and that training now in terms of Molusi that went to Pirates and Fiak now that is at Kaiser Chiefs. I was just opportune as a goalkeeper coach, to have the opportunity to pass. They have the talent already, but you need someone to bring the best out of them. I'm just so happy and they are doing well. I just hope they can continue and do well.
I'm glad that you mentioned Buthelezi as well, because what I always find so interesting in terms of development in the country, when you look into football and your rugby and your cricket, is that in the other sporting codes, you already see 10-year-olds who are being spotted, knowing that, okay, this is the future. What have you seen on the ground? I mean, you also have your sons rather, who also play football. So what's the conversation on the ground in terms of the upcoming talent from the goalkeeping side? Then we'll talk about your sons in just a bit.
For me, I just think grassroots is important. You cannot be 18 or 17 and start teaching the basics. From 12 years, 13 years, that's what happened in Europe, in terms of their goalkeeping, for what I understand, and, the courses I've been to, you have to learn these things, so that things can be natural. When you start getting grower, you start competing to get even the reserve league, or even the first team to be the second goalkeeper, because you have everything already. You must do more in the grassroots, in terms of producing good goalkeepers. And I think South Africa have the ability and have the capacity to do that. And it's just for for the younger ones to willingly wanted to be a goalkeeper and put that effort. Because sometimes as a goalkeeper coach, it comes both sides. You want the kids to be ready to be a goalkeeper, and how you're going to teach him a lot of things is important, but you have to teach him from the basic, and the basic started from when you're 12 years, 13 years. Even if you want to go down to 6 years, it can be, but I mean, for him to be properly knowing the angles of goalkeeping, knowing how to stay on the line, knowing when to come out, judgment of the ball, the crosses, there's a lot of things that go into goalkeeping. People really don't understand. Goalkeeping is not about just shot stopping. There's a lot of things you need to contribute to the team. how to play from the back. When the cross is coming, your starting point is important. You can't just stay on the line. You need to give yourself some yard for you to get to the ball. At the same time, you need to be clever. You need to know your angles, where you are. You're coming out from the box. How many steps you're going to take to go back to tip the ball. So generally, goalkeeping is a specific position that you need specific people to be there as a goalkeeper coach, to teach from the basic, and not only you teaching them on the pitch, you need to speak to them nicely outside again, because they are human beings. Sometimes mentality is matters most. How you speak to them, how you prepare them is very important, because you're on your own there. You're on your own there. When things are nice, everyone say, no, the team is winning. No, when things are rough, that's where you're on your own there, because everyone start pointing finger on you. So you need to be ready mentally and physically for you to handle the situation. And if you have a good goalkeeper coach that can speak to you, that can prepare you before the game, after the game, even though you are doing well, you need to keep you grounded. You need to let you understand that, goalkeeping is just not about one game. Every goal, someone can come and stay in the goals and be fantastic one game, but how consistent are you in terms of goalkeeping? So there's a lot of things.
Coach, two things. Number one, or maybe let me stick with one for now. This phenomenon of playing from the back. I know back in the day, defenders used to give the back pass, the keeper hold it and all that. That is gone, it's changed now. And now teams are, Rowen does it very well at Sundowns because of the caliber of players that he has. What's your view on that, and how much practice do you need to do as a team to get it right?
You have to, first of all, you need to accept that there's going to be mistakes. As a coach or as a team, you guys need to accept there's going to be mistakes, because sometimes it happened in the past game, but from the play now, Rowen makes some wrong passes, passes,
and then
he recovers. But the good thing about him, he recovers. When something happens, he's there to save. not only playing. So.
And Rainer's goal also was because of a mistake from the Congo keeper.
Yeah, you try to, if you are not used to it, you cannot. But you have to accept as a coach, if you want your team to play from the back, you need to accept that sometimes they're going to be mistake. At Sundowns, Rowen gets it perfectly now and doing it well. Okay, play 3 games at Sundowns, concede 2 goals. National team, he played 1 game. 4 games now because he was injured. He was out injured. You can see how Sundowns were coming out when he was not there. And now that he plays, the games he plays, and see how they come in. He have accurate of about, let me say 78% in terms of accurate passes. He even touched the ball more than some of the players, So at the national team here, I think he has about 78, apart from the 3 passes that he missed because he have to play because they are winning, and he's confident, he's used to that. You can see he's comfortable with that. I think sometimes you need to play with the players in the pitch, the small Randu, Juju, get comfortable, because every goalkeeper can play from the back. But when you're under pressure, can you play from the back? So I always say that, as a goalkeeper coach, all the whole goalkeepers in the whole world, everyone can play from the back. If I don't put pressure on you, you can pick your head up, you can look who you're going to pass to, and you can pass it. But when you're under pressure, are you able to play it under pressure? That's where you become a real goalkeeper. That's where you can, but you need to be backed up by the coaches and understand that sometimes you might make mistake, no matter how perfect you are. Maybe it's a good pass and the player you pass to make a bad touch and something happened there, So, but all in all, Rowen have been doing it very well. And he has mastered it so well that even other teams that analyze Bafana analyze Sundowns, they don't pressurize him. When they give him back to, they say, no, let's stay, because you try to press and he plays out, your team have 1 shot now. So you're 1 shot of a player because the other guys will be free. And, with Sundowns, with Bafana, they attack you with pace, So I just feel like, he's a big advantage in terms of Bafana in terms of Sundowns.
That's also one thing which I noticed, especially last year under Rolani, and I used to say, most of the teams, Sundowns beat most of the teams because of Ronwen's ability to eliminate a player who presses him. It will always look as if Sundowns have got an extra player. Because if the attacking striker or the attacking attacker attacks him and then he eliminates him by
passing out,
that player who was pressing is eliminated already. Then when they attack you -1 player. And that's one thing that can work for the advantage of a team that has got a goalkeeper who can do that.
But your main priority is to save the ball. Your main priority is to keep the ball out of the goal. No matter how good you are with your feet, if you cannot keep the ball out of the goal,
you are not a good goalkeeper.
But you see now, Rowen mixed that with top saves. Sundowns can be under pressure, Bafana can be under pressure, he can play from the back, he can do whatever he want to do, but he tops that and put that in another level in terms of saves. He doesn't make ordinary saves. He makes match savings, saves that, keep the team in the game. So I just feel for me right now in Africa, in the world, he's been nominated, you can see the value, I think he has from where he was before when I knew him as Super Sport, and going to Bafana, going to Sundowns, credit to the goalkeeper coaches, Robinson, in Wendell and Kennedy Murray at Sundowns, his game has gone to another level, and with Bafana, you can see, you can't mention 3 players without mentioning Rowen at Bafana because of the level he is now in terms of the saves. As a goalkeeper, you're known with your saves. You can pass as much as you can, but your saves come first. And he has done that. His ratio is very, very good. His stats in saves is top to both in the national team and the club side. I just feel, the way he's going, if he keep consistent, because the only thing is about injury. I just feel like, if less injury in terms of his career, I think he's going to be one of the top keepers in South Africa that comes out from South Africa.
All right, so you mentioned a few other keepers earlier on, right? When you look now into the Chiefs United goalkeeper and Stanley Nola, he does well for the Super Eagles. Are you surprised that he's still a Chiefs? Can we still expect more out of him in the league?
It's difficult for goalkeepers, no matter how good you are, for you to go to Europe, there's a lot of things they check, there's a lot of things they check, your stats, because he broke out to the limelight with this last AFCON.
Yeah.
Because before then he played about 1 game or 2 games. He did well, but not really what Nigeria, because Nigeria were having Maduka Okoye, he's in Udinese and he's playing consistently in Udinese. And if you're the second on the log, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, imagine you're playing in Italy and someone in South Africa playing, be the first goalkeeper. So there's something good that you're doing, I think Nwabali have proven at the AFCON that he's reliable, because after Vincent for a very long time, Nigeria really didn't have a consistent keeper.
Yeah.
Consistent meaning every time Nigeria, Vincent was that, it took goalkeeping from Nigeria to another level. So anyone that comes is very difficult for you. You play 1 game nice, the next game you don't play, it's a problem. Nigeria wants you out, and Nigeria is a country that is difficult to please, And so Wabali came, he came with arrogancy, he came with personality, and he's a good goalkeeper. So with the opportunity he got at AFCON, he become consistent in terms of playing wise, and he become used to the team. I just think he can go, he can improve, he can improve, he can get opportunity to play overseas. But there's a lot of things apart from your general goalkeeping. There's a lot of things, these European clubs they check, and I think when the opportunity come, I think he's gonna go to Europe.
Since you mentioned Nigeria, what I want to quickly find out, Ikechi Anya, a player that, I don't know from your opinion, but I think there was so much potential, so much expectations.
Yeah.
What's the word? Has he lived up to that expectation?
No, Nigeria really, a lot of Nigerians, mostly the supporters and people, journalists too, they know about him, because when he played for under-17, he was the best player.
Yeah.
And he rise to the national, to the senior national team. People really expect him to hit, because he has too much skills.
Yes.
He was at Leicester. People expect him to hit on the gear. This season that passed now, he went now to Serbia now. He's not in England again. People didn't really see what they thought he could be. But not that he's not a good player. He's still in the national team. He's a very good player. He has the ability to become a good player, a better player than what he is now. But Nigeria don't have that time in terms of the national team. Club side, they can be patient, but he didn't really play for Leicester consistently. So he was in and out, and up to this stage now, he have to leave to Spain. He can be great, because people, Nigeria have that comparison. They compare you to a former top player that has the same, that they feel like you can be, the same, like in terms of Mikel Obi, it's a typical example. People were thinking they're tipping Mikel to be the next JJ, but there's only one JJ, coach. So, so you can try your best, but you have to stay consistent, in terms of what you do. So for Enacho, I think he can still do well. He can still be the player that people think he can be. But yeah, there's a long way for him to go.
He's the same as Obi. I don't think he has fulfilled his potential also.
Yeah, but now he's retired, so now it's no one talk about it. But people when he came from the under-17 to the under-20 to the under-23, people, he came out the second best player in the Olympics behind Messi, and you have Taitao, the third best player. So, and check where Messi was. He went to, and but I just feel like, comparison, the former players, the standard in Nigeria was too much.
Yeah, just too high.
So when you come, you need to be consistent, and you need to do very well. So, and Mikel was one player that Nigeria still love him in terms of, people that support Chelsea. Nigeria, they support club side, people support Chelsea. He did very well. Sometimes the position changed. He played 10, he played holding. So, but Mikel tried his best. But that's one thing in football. For you to compare one player to the other is very difficult. And people were comparing Mikel to JJ, but there was only one JJ.
Yeah, that was the mistake. I think it's a continental thing.
Yeah. Yes, we all do the same. Yeah.
If you go to Cameroon, who do you compare to Mboma? No one. Yeah, if you go to Nigeria, who do you compare to JJ? No one. South Africa, Shus Musho, no one. So what I'm trying to get at is, why aren't we producing those caliber of players?
For me, first of all, every league is very important. Every league is strong, every league is good. But, during this time you're talking about, most of the South African players, they went overseas. I think Khunes was in Turkey. Yeah, it was in Turkey. Dr. Kumalo was in Turkey. You have Lucas Radebe was at Leeds. You have Benny McCarthy, was FC Porto, went to Blackburn. You know, you have a lot of players, playing overseas. It's a different atmosphere. You know, most of the time I have that, we have that belief too when we play national teams in terms of when I was playing for Nigeria national team. So when you see a player playing overseas, there's such respect. But when you still playing, like, not a lot of players that goes overseas, it doesn't matter. You don't know what the situation is, you can be, because like Sundowns now, I mean, they are the best team, one of the best team in Africa. You understand? So if you want to improve, it's a good thing. If you play national team consistently, you're still improving because you're playing the continent in terms of how your football goes to. But, a lot of people, they believe that you test yourself. When you test yourself, there's a stage you get to when you say, okay, let me just see what is happening the other side. And when you go to overseas, no matter how, maybe 2 years, 3 years, there's that experience that you have. Typical example is the center back in Gazana from Kaizer Chiefs. He improved. You can see that there's improvement. They can see there's improvement. But for me, I think that's what needed. But to compare a player to player, I think it's difficult. It's very difficult.
Olisanda, vital for Orlando Pirates. We see how important it is in that position. And then it's just unfortunate as well with the injuries that he sustains.
Yeah.
National team, he got a call-up in the last friendly encounter, but this time around, unfortunately, he's injured. What have you made of Olisa in terms of club level and the national team, besides the injuries?
I think, most people in Nigeria think that, he's a top player. They really rate him. Even Austin Eguavon, the interim coach now, he rates him very, very, very high. His calmness on the ball, how to play from the back, reading the game, his leadership quality, I'm not surprised Pirates gave him a captain for the season, but the injury now, that's what's slowing his progress, But yeah, injury is part of game. He has been to the national team before with tournament. He went to the last game, the qualifiers. Now this one against Libya, he's out because of his injury. He didn't even play the finals of the MTN 8. For me, personally, I think he's a top player. I think he has done so well. Pirates is a massive team. Pirates is a team that play Champions League now, then the group stages. So he's there. There's progress in terms of where he was at Pirates before, where Pirates, in terms of how last time they didn't qualify for the group stage. Now they are there in the group stage, and they can take it more further in terms of getting to the semi-finals, to the finals, and even win the CAF Champions League. But at the same time, for him personally as a player, I think he has progressed a lot.
Yeah.
He has improved at Pirates. Credit to the coach. In terms of the whole team, you can see the whole team. They play good football, and he's big part of that. Of that package.
When you look into different leagues, you mentioned how we have to have different leagues that are strong, right? Now, you look into the importing of players. When you look into the South African league, do you think that it's important for us as well to increase the level of, as much as, yes, we'd love to export, but also bringing more players to help strengthen the league?
Depends. You see, that's a really difficult question, in terms of what's really the league wants and what the club, because clubs are under pressure. Clubs, in the PSL, for you to stay in the Premiership is very important. For you to be there, going to a lower division, you lose a lot of things. And I just feel like competition is important too. When you get someone from overseas, he must be better than what you have at home. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to compete. Because you cannot give up because this guy is better than you. You have to compete. And because when I came, that time was very difficult. It was very, very difficult because you have to compete. I compete with a lot of top goalkeepers. The goalkeeper coach at Sundowns now.
Wendell,
I was together with the Swallows. There was top goalkeepers, that I competed with, and which is very important. So no matter what you do in life, there's going to be competition. For you to mourn about it, because there's no, we talk about Premier League now. Premier League, there's open. Everyone can play as far as you're good enough. But for me, in that argument, I just feel like, competition, no matter where you come from, no matter, you just have to be good. You just have to contribute. You cannot come and be the same with whoever is there before. You need to add value for anywhere you go to. In terms of soccer, when you come to a team, you need to add value to the team. You need to be better than the guy that was there. Not that the guy that was there is not going to compete. You have to compete. At that moment, the coach feel like this is the right person to play in that game at that particular time. The best player play, So for me, I just feel like competition is very important.
Coach, you've been talking about other people, but yourself. I think you were one of the best goalkeepers that we've seen in the country. You just mentioned your competition with Wendell Robinson, who was at Swallows for a long time and that kind of thing. Personally, you quite happy with the contribution you've made, and also maybe just fill us in a little bit about Swallows then. Swallows was a good team, eh?
Swallows is, I was blessed to play for Swallows. Swallows is a very good team under a lot of good coaches. I played under a lot of good players that comes in and out at Swallows. We, different season we have different players because it's a selling team. We need to sell the best players, and yeah, I think for me, I was so blessed and I was grateful, for you to stay in the club for a very long time as a goalkeeper, not from the development, first team for a very long time. I think, and I played probably under 7 coaches, 6. So, and everyone feel that I'm the number one. So there's something that they saw in me, that was good for them, So I was very grateful. I just have to compete every day. Every training session, I took it as a game, every game I did my best, and I just feel like at the end of the day, I'm just so happy and thanks for the opportunity Swallows gave to me, and most especially all the coaches I play under.
Some of the best players you played with there?
There's a lot of, there was top. There's a lot of top players, if I go back, starting from the day one I came to Swallows, there's a lot of, I can name over a lot of players, they're just top, in terms of what they brought and what they contributed at Swallows, and, the way I view them, in terms of how they play, everyone has different skills, and there's top players. There's top, I can't even, mention one. It's just, I don't know what to say, but all of them I played, they know themselves, and all of them went and did great things. Most of them played for the Bafana Bafanas. Some of them, they went to Europe. Mama Niang was a typical example. He came, Gavin brought him. He came and played as Swallows one season. The next season, we went for pre-season in Germany. Yeah. After 45 minutes, Wolfsburg signed him, So, that shows the quality he has.
Lefa Tsutulupa, one of the most underrated footballers in this country.
Definitely. I think, seeing him coming from Bloemfontein, I was at Swallows that time, I saw a little man coming from Jomo because he went from Bloemfontein to Jomo, and Gavin said, no, we need this player. A guy with the dreadlocks, top player, top midfielder, top human being, good captain, on and off the field, he took everyone along at Swallows, and I just feel, he's my best friend in terms of when I was at Swallows and off the pitch and on the pitch, and up to now I do communicate with him. He's one top guy that you always rely on, a very good guy, when things are really rough at Swallows, people really didn't know he was the one that's, caused most of us, we mobilized, try to motivate the guys. Because some of the guys that came to Swallows from other teams like Sundowns, like other teams, Pirates, they really didn't understand what was going on. So you need to explain to them, this is how, things, because it was different things, a lot of things that were happening at Swallows. But Tutulupa kept a lot of things on the table, and as a captain, you need to do that, and it takes a lot of sticks. I think for me, he's one best. Apart on the pitch, he was a very good player. Off the pitch, he was a good human being.
You also have to tell us about Rado
Chabangu was Chabangu, I've seen a lot of good players, a lot of top players, but Chabango was something else. Larato was something different. He's so talented that he doesn't need to train throughout the whole week. And come weekend, Saturday or Sunday, he's gonna be man of the match, you know. So, and at Swallows, we now realize how to treat him, and we need to understand him, because you know this thing, our player, this one don't train, how he's gonna play a game, you know. But you know, we used to have Gordon Egerson as a coach that time. He used to tell us that, guys, I knew this boy from Sundance, and with the injuries he had, we need to manage him very well, you know. So Gordon really managed him, and we as a player, we supported him, and he was one talented player I've ever seen in South Africa. You know, gifted with both feet, left and right, free kicks, you know, corner kicks, shooting. I mean, he's just unbelievable player. I just feel like, you know, yeah, you know, I wish he could have, you know, went further, but I just know, you know, in every situation you give thanks to God, because, you know, he has contributed what he needed to contribute. And I just feel like he's one player I was grateful to play along with.
Talk to us about how you then transitioned to being a goalkeeper coach, because you look into your career, and I mean also how Lucky Shiburi played a vital role in your transition as well, when you took over from him in 2021. So tell us about, you know, your transition. How did you always know as well that you wanted to be a coach?
You know, when you start getting older, and the body, you know, you can feel that you cannot do whatever you used to do before, in terms of how you play, how your games, you know, how your game goes. You need to think about what next to do, you know. So at that moment, I feel like, you know, I sat with my family and I tell them that, because I got some injuries, a lot of bad injuries, you know, in terms of shoulder injuries, you know, my fingers, you can see, you know, as a goalkeeper, my face.
These are not like William Shobo's fingers.
So as a goalkeeper, but I always say that as a goalkeeper, if you don't have, like, not that you go injure yourself purposely, but if you don't take risk, if you don't make great saves, if you don't put your body on the line, you cannot be talked about as a goalkeeper. So I passed through the stage of too many injuries, and it got to a stage that my body couldn't, really cope again. You know, wake up in the morning, you feel sore, and you know, all the stuff. So that time I started my coaching badges, you know. So during when I was playing towards my end of my career, so I feel like, you know, let me just do some badges, just in case, because I really love football, you know. I really love football. I want to be into football. So I started doing goalkeeping courses. I do my normal course, I do my goalkeeping courses, you know. So, and right now, I think that because in South Africa, you have four stages of goalkeeping course. You have the normal goalkeeping SAFA course. You know, you have the one CAF, SAFA, and FIFA, which is the advanced course, goalkeeping course. And the last one is just the last one you do, like the world goalkeeping course, in terms of the FIFA, CAF, SAFA, you know. That's the last stage, you know, in Africa in terms of goalkeeping. In Europe, I think it's about 5 or 6, you know. So, yeah, I've tried to equip myself in terms of goalkeeping courses now. But before then, I knew that, okay, let me start something. And the more you learn, the more you understand about what to do when you become that coach. So that was when I started to coach, you know. But I have the opportunity. I'm grateful to TS Galaxy. Before then, I was at when I started Swallows as a goalkeeper coach. I went to Cape Town All-Stars as a goalkeeper coach. I went to Baroka with Tobojani, you know, remember the time? Yeah.
How was that one?
Yeah, it was very good. He's a very good, very, very top man. I mean, he's one, there's different coaches. He's just happy to be a coach. Yeah, he's just happy to be a coach.
Even
and
though football would kill you.
real death. So I was just so grateful to be under him, and he's a great man, you know. So from there, I went to Highlands Park. For Highlands Park, you know, I have the opportunity to be at TS Galaxy thanks to Tim Sokazi, Mr. Tim Sokazi's family and everyone, and most especially, you know, Siad Removic, you know, gave me that, because we came together with him, you know, because there was a different set of people that time. So we came, and so to God
So when
be
you
the glory.
started, Greg, where did you prefer watching the game? I asked this because I talked to Kennedy Mweni and he says, I still prefer watching the game from the grandstand and I take my notes from there.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your preference? You want to be closer?
Yeah, you know, because you're part of the technical team, yeah, you have your cameras, you know, that is videoing whatever, you know, you think that at that moment. Because what I do as a goalkeeper coach, every moment I see is a good one or a bad one, I put that minutes down and I try to go to the camera, I try to go to my recording to see at that moment we have to correct it because we have to go through things. No matter how good it was or how bad it is, you have to go through it so that you can understand what is happening there so that if it can happen next time or it never happened, but at least at that moment, the goalkeeper understand what should be done at that situation. So I have my camera up there, you know,
So
but I
you leave the
stay,
camera up
I
there.
take my notes, I jot a lot of things, you know, but I jot the minutes and minutes because every minute I have my stopwatch and to see that, okay, at this moment, this is what happened, you know, you have to keep it down and so that you can analyze whatever, you know, for you to improve and for you to better yourself. It's important for you to know at that moment what was wrong and how you can sort it out next time if it happens like that.
All right, so we'll move over then to the Carling Cup that is upon us. You're playing at Mbombela Stadium. Absolutely exciting. One of the best stadiums in the country, in my
No, it's
opinion.
because he's from there.
No, it's best. It's very good. I'm telling
Thank
you,
you.
it's very, very. In terms
Thank
of the
you, Greg.
surface, in terms of the atmosphere, in terms of everything, I think it's very.
She's
top.
from there.
Oh, okay.
No, but you don't have to put that. He's already agreeing with me that it is one of the top stadiums in the country. But talk to us about that encounter where you guys are preparing to play against Cheaper.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive game. You know, it's going to be a massive game. Chippa is a very good team. You know, we played them in the league. We lost 2-1. Yeah, so, but this is a cup game. Cup game is very important for you to kickstart whatever you want to do. I just feel like it's a massive game. We're playing at home. It's our home game. And yeah, we will try to do our best. You know, we respect Chippa in terms of as a team, as individual players. They have individual players that can do brilliant things. But we as a team, you know, we work hard in terms of, you know, we're playing at home. So we need to try to go to the next round and we do our best to do that.
Has the FIFA break assisted in terms of preparation?
Massive. Because, you know, you try to prepare yourself for things that hasn't gone right, you know, in terms of the league games and all those stuff. Because, I mean, we just feel like this FIFA break came at the right time, and we played a lot of friendly games, you know, try to correct one or two things, and I think, you know, by God's grace, we are ready now to go.
To go again.
Coach, lastly from me, how sad are you that Solos is no longer there?
Personally, I'm very, very sad, you know, but as I said to you, you know, there's things that's, you know, there's a lot of things that occur before the situation, you know, there's a lot of things, you know, and even when I was there, when I was playing, there's a lot of things that goes on, you know, in terms of, off the pitch. Off the pitch situation, that's the most difficult part at Swallows, you know, so, but very, very sad. I hope one day, you know, someone can, you know, revive the name again and things should be run properly. That's the only thing, you know, things should be run. A lot of people came in and tried their best, but, you know, before now, there's a lot of situation that goes wrong, you know, in terms of, you know, players taking the club to FIFA, a lot of things behind the scenes, you know. So there's a lot of things, you know, I mean, we can stay the whole day, you know, I can tell you about Swallows about the whole day, but my prayers is just for one day, you know, and someone just come and try to revive the club and buy it. That would be my greatest joy, and I'm praying for that day.
On a last note, Coach, in terms of your personal life, I mean, I know that your wife was also a keeper back in her days, right? So now if you had to be a fly, for someone to be interested as to how that household is, we know your sons as well. They also love football. You've got a defender, you've got a striker there. Talk to us about how family life and having young kids.
Sometimes I go home, I don't want to talk about football. But you know the women, they won't tell you that everything that is supposed to be. But I mean, I'm so happy, you know, because sometimes it's easier, for you to get different perspective from your family, because they're gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna tell you what they feel like, and they are the people that can tell you this is how they feel like, and you have to accept it because your family is your family. Yeah, my wife, biggest critic for me, when I was playing. Now I'm becoming a coach now, telling me this or that, but I'm so happy, I'm so happy. My son there, yeah, I don't like to correct him in terms of when we come home, I give him some time, for me to correct him, because sometimes get heated, because you always want the best for your kids. You always feel like they can do better than what they did. But it's sometimes you want to watch other program,
but there's no time for that.
Coach, maybe I know I said last one, but I just remembered something. Firstly, your kids were born here, Bafana. Done. You must talk to the junior national team coach to give them one cap to lock there. They are not going to Nigeria. Lastly, coach, you also played against very, very, very top strikers. Just a few who always gave you headaches.
Daniel Madao, Collins Mbesuma, late Dennis
Lotta.
Those, every goalkeeper wants you to shoot at them, but they don't shoot. All the Collins, sometimes he does shoot, but for a striker to place the ball side, that is the most difficult for a goalkeeper. So for me, I just feel like Dennis was very good at that. Dennis doesn't shoot because he doesn't want. He feel like he put it at the corner. So I think those three, they're very, very good striker. They become the best in the country, top goal scorers, and you can see their careers. But for me, there's a lot of top strikers, but those ones, that always don't shoot. They always try to put the ball at the corner, and goalkeepers don't like those situations. To dive at the corner is very difficult. Your goalkeeper always wants the shot, because he's prepared for the shot for him to save. But those three are those are top strikers I've played against.
All right, on that note, maybe you can also indulge us as to your top 3 strikers that have impressed you so far in any league. Would love to hear from you. But that's how we wrap up the Arena Sports Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We're doing it again soon. Take care. Goodbye.